Everyone still looks uncomfortable.
Perhaps they'll all remember that old saying, power corrupts.
Hello and welcome to Second Officer Slog. I'm your host, Em. With me is regular co-host, Jackson.
Hello. Hi, Star Trek.
We are here at the penultimate episode of Star Trek Discovery.
It's time. It's almost over.
It has been, as one might say, a long road.
It has been a fairly long road.
You know what? It's actually been a very brief and fitful road.
No, but I feel like we've been watching Discovery for like half of our lives at this point.
I disagree. I feel like it just began.
Yeah, but both of those things are always true when you do something like this, right? That happens with every television show.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. Oof. What a road it has been. What a journey.
You know?
And now we're here.
Did you watch any other Star Trek, Jackson?
Absolutely not, but I might start Voyager this week.
Yes!
Because, I've been hesitating on that, thinking, I kind of just want to rewatch the other things, but I've realised that that's a dumb thing to do.
I mean, you'll have the rest of your life to rewatch the other things.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, I should do it in like an actual one in order and everything, but that's a dumb thing to do, and I'll never actually do that, and I'll just waffle and do nothing as I want to do. So I should just watch Voyager, get it on with.
Yeah, then we can talk about it.
Been a pretty good time for, as bad as things are over here, been a good time for clearing things off the list, so it's time to watch Voyager.
Yeah, it's off the list.
Shut up.
What?
Nothing. That was for me, I guess.
All right.
Yep. But no, today we are talking about episode 14 of Star Trek Discovery, The War Without, The War Within.
Yeah.
It aired on February 4th, 2018, was written by Lisa Randolph and directed by David Solomon. That's the details, right? I did it.
Yeah, I know you did it.
I did it. Good. I'm like a small child.
Yeah.
In this episode, we return to the Prime Universe at the end of last time. Stamets brings everyone home on the Spore Drive. That is all wrapped up. Lorca is dead, and they return to the Prime Universe, and it turns out that they have lost the war, basically. The Federation has the Klingons attacking them at every single starbase. They are retreating into their home systems. The war is all but lost, and Discovery is here 9 months later. That is where we pick up. So this episode begins with a bunch of soldiers beaming onto the bridge of the Discovery. And it turns out that it is Sarek and Admiral Cornwell, which is very good. Everyone likes Sarek and Admiral Cornwell. Sarek, in this universe and the next, is a ridiculous, a mind-melding spy. And immediately mind-meld with Sarek to be like, oh, okay, it's fine. We know what happened. We don't have to waste a scene explaining everything.
They've had a really bad 9 months.
Yeah, because they're really pissed at why they disappeared. There's a line about the ISS Discovery, it got blown up. They hand wave that away. That doesn't exist anymore. Not a problem.
Yep.
Anyway, everyone is up to speed, and so we begin the actual plot of the episode, which is the Klingons are destroying everything. But as they warp to Starbase 1, we learn that this isn't the Klingon seal. It's the seal of a house. It's house. I forget what the house is.
Doesn't matter.
One of the houses. The Klingons are fractured. They started
House of Dagor.
Thank
you, Memory Alpha.
I was on Memory Alpha where is it? And it wasn't highlighted, so I couldn't see it.
It's in references.
Oh, of course it is.
Right after Enterprise NX-01.
Yes. Yes. So, the Klingons are fractured, and they're say, oh, we started this war fighting one enemy, and now we're fighting 24. This is the big problem. How do we fight this? How do we beat this? And the other...
More specifically, the problem is that the Klingons are now competing over who can fuck up humans the worst.
Yes.
And thus they are just committing more and more, like, ridiculous war crimes against the Federation.
Yes, like, they are not trying to beat the humans or the Federation. The Federation is of so little consequence that they are just getting owned in, like, the Klingons' own petty fights. Like, that's how little they matter at this point. So in order to try to defeat them and figure out how to, like, make sure the Federation still exists in a week, they turn to Emperor Georgiou, who Burnham saved last week, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck do we do?" And Burnham is like, "We need to win this war. How did you make the Klingons bow to you?" And she goes, "Well, I went and attacked them with guns," which is the big twist there. Turns out you have to attack them, and the plan is given to send the Discovery. The plan is, they have to go and attack, and like launch all the Federation's forces to Kronos and like launch a preemptive attack so that they have to retreat from Federation space and fix up their own backyard. This plan has a lot of details in that, first off, they need to know where like any of the like facilities on Kronos like are. So they have to go and like refill their spore collection by terraforming a planet and picking up a bunch of spores. This plan is given its go-ahead with the one condition that Admiral Cornwall allows Emperor Georgiou that she can go free. And so the episode ends with Emperor Georgiou being revealed to the crew as the thought lost but now returned Captain Philippa Georgiou, and that's the big cliffhanger of the main A-plot. And then the B-plot is Ash Tyler, because holy shit, that happened. We didn't talk about that last time because there wasn't any time. Ash Tyler is awake. And it's kind of weird because what's happened to him is that he's back, but he also like is still Vok in like a memories sense. Like he still has all of Vok's feelings and memories inside them. Those aren't like separated people, but Ash is clearly in control. At least that is what it seems like. It is unclear the like mechanics of this, but whatever Ash Tyler is now is not a threat and is like this new weird Klingon hybrid that has undergone intense torture and is just this mystery that just lives on the ship now, and everyone has to deal with that, and they all deal with that in different ways. Stamets comes up to him and is like, "You fucking bastard, you killed my husband, fuck you." And
not his husband. I'm pretty sure they're not married.
Oh, well, you killed Kolba.
Yes.
Like, did this burn you up inside? And Ash is like, "Yeah, no, I'm going to feel awful about it for the rest of my life." And so Stamets is like, "Yeah, maybe you are human then." And then there's a scene of him in the cafeteria where everyone's very silent and not sitting with him, but then Tilly goes to sit with him and everyone goes to sit with him, and it's big and cheesy and I like it. Apparently it's a controversial scene, but I thought it was pretty good. Then that plot line comes to a head as Burnham is avoiding him because Burnham doesn't want to see him. She is like obviously traumatized by the fact that he tried to murder her, and almost more importantly than that he didn't tell her that this was happening. That the only time she found out what was happening was when he tried to murder her, and so she couldn't help him. And eventually, after a lot of goading, she comes to confront him, and they have an argument. And he is like, "Why have you like left me in this time where I'm falling apart and everyone hates me and I'm like a Klingon, but I'm like barely a person anymore?" And she's like, "Look, you tried to murder me, you didn't tell me, and I can't look at you anymore. I have to go without you. That's just how it has to be. I did love you, that's why this is hard." And walks away as he's like melting. So it's a bad time on the Discovery, but those are the two plots. Those are the main things that happened. It's a lot of people standing around talking, which is always a good time for me. I like it when people mostly stand around and talk about how they feel. So there you go. That's the episode. That is the summary. Did I miss anything big? I don't think so.
No, I feel like your read on the situation is different than mine, but you didn't miss any of the factual data here.
Oh, of the situation with Burnham and...
Everything.
Everything?
Everything, really. You might as well call this episode, "No, Discovery's still Star Trek. Let us sit down and talk to you about how the Federation works."
Mm-hmm.
So much of this episode is framed in the Sarek and Cornwell have become desperate. They've become like, we're going to finish the war by any cost, even if it means compromising our values by working with Mir Georgiou. Meanwhile, Burnham and Saru and Tilly especially, and even Stamets are the people who are fucking trained by Starfleet. They know that their job is to be open to the new experiences, even when those new experiences suck and can kill them and will hurt. And like understanding that and confronting that and being willing to like take it in and absorb it and be okay is what Starfleet is good at. Like, it's at the core what Exploring Strange New Worlds is about. That fucking speech of Q at the end of All Good Things. It's like, it's not about charting nebula. It's about interpersonal conflict and dealing with it appropriately. That is the evolution of humanity. That's like the underpinning of all of Star Trek. And this episode to me like underlines that the most of everything Discovery has had, where like Burnham, especially like Burnham and Ash Tyler, like Ash Tyler is like, oh, I need you. I need to get through this. Like, I don't know who I am anymore. And I did all these awful things that aren't my fault. And I barely, like, I remember them all, but I was not me when I did them. And everyone gives him the side eye, except for Tilly, who goes and sits with him. And then everyone joins in because he's still Ash Tyler, damn it. And he's still a person they all considered a friend. Even if his story seemed fake enough to be unreal, Jim Kirk was from a farm in Iowa. I don't know what you want from me. Sometimes Star Trek's dumb.
Yes.
Stamets, like, is mad at him. But he isn't like, oh, I hope you rot. I hope they throw you in jail. He's like, well, at least you feel something about this, and storms off because he's mad. But he's not like wishing harm on Ash Tyler, because that's not what Starfleet fucking does.
I mean, that was just me exaggerating.
Yes, I know.
Fairly in line with that scene.
And then Tilly goes up to Burnham and is like, you need to talk to Ash Tyler. Like, they could like, Starfleet could go and like dissect him when this war is over. They could throw him in jail or whatever. You need to say whatever you need to say right now. Like, the only way through this, and let me tell you, as someone who realized my alternate self got what she wanted but was evil, we have to confront the darkness within ourselves to understand who we are and be better people. And Burnham's like, well, I guess this is a good point. And she goes and talks to him. And the whole conversation is not necessarily about their relationship, because the relationship doesn't matter, and was always kind of like a weird nebulous thing that both of them rushed into, but isn't really what their character's about. Like, Burnham is a character who made one really bad call at the beginning of the show, where she's like, no, we need to attack the Klingons, even when Georgiou said, no, let's not do that. And she overrode a captain, and everyone in the Federation has eaten shit for a year at this point because of that choice.
Yeah, no, Burnham is arguably responsible for every single death in the series.
And Burnham's response to that is to, like, over the course of the show, try to, like, she gave up. Lorca rescued her for his awful plans, and when she realized that was the case, she didn't like fall back down into like her depression that she had when she was going to jail. She has like crawled her way back to humanity, and she talks about it in the speech she gives Ash Tyler. Like, what she has found within herself is like a very human inner strength that is not like what Sarek gave her. It is something that she's discovered for herself, and that's important. And if Ash Tyler is going to be a functional human being, he needs to find that for himself, and he can't do that when she's there propping him up with grand speeches every other day. You know, like, the humanity that Ash Tyler is going to live with the rest of his life is going to be difficult, but it has to be his that he like forges for himself. If it even is a humanity. Like, they talk a lot about how what he is like something new and different. And as Star Trek characters, new and different is their whole bag.
Yeah.
So, like, the response that Ash Tyler, like, has to be some sort of villain. Like, I've seen people being like, oh, like, they definitely give him, like, a redemptive arc. I'm like, no, they really don't. Like, it's not, the things that happened are clearly not his fault. Like, would you say Picard is, like, guilty of what he did as Locutus? No. Star Trek clearly states he is not, like, culpable for all of those things, except for First Contact, which is a very bad movie written by stupid people.
Yeah, so that was my thing. If a lot of the discussions around this is that the thing that happens to Ash Tyler isn't like that wild in terms of a thing that could happen to a Star Trek character. You go through the like things that have happened to people in episodes, and they are full of, oh, I tried to murder you this one time, but that was actually X like plot point thing.
Data was given emotions for a day and tortured Geordi that entire day,
and they're best friends.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah. Like, over the course of just like Star Trek episodes, like, every character does really awful things just for plot reasons, usually that aren't their fault. So like, approaching this Ash Tyler situation was like, okay, this is just a plot of an episode, but on a show that has to deal with this in a slightly more human way, but with the like characters, and give these things consequences. Yes. And they're like very difficult to deal with when you like get down to it, but I think it would have been dishonest to have everyone be like, no, fuck that guy forever, because like Picard became a Borg and tried to destroy the entire Federation because he was a Borg for a week.
He killed thousands of people.
Yeah. And Sisko's fine with him after the episode. Like, he still hates him for it, like, but he's fine.
But like Sisko's whole arc is getting like early on is getting over that.
Exactly. Like, Star Trek is littered with that thing. So like we've been discussing the specifically the scene in the cafeteria in the Discord and stuff, and a lot of people have different feelings on it, but like, yes, it is cheesy.
A lot of people are wrong.
Look, I'm being nice.
I'm not.
Okay.
How can you get to this point in Star Trek, like 30 seasons of a show that is all about you have to embrace the thing you don't understand and fear, that's the only way to move forward as a species, and say, no, they probably shouldn't have sat down with him at the lunch table, even though he was their friend?
I feel like the argument against that scene was more that it was like ridiculous and cheesy. Not the
idea of like understanding and embracing the other that is like scary to you often does appear cheesy. The Federation are fucking nerdy cheeseballs. That's the whole point.
I'm there with you. I'm saying that I am for that. But like it is definitely a cheesy choice to be like, and then everyone came, sat around the table. But I think it's a very Star Trek choice. I think
like everyone is like the three people he was showing hanging out with before all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tilly, it's Detmer, it's was it Osei-kun? Was it someone else?
I think it was Osei-kun.
Okay.
But yes, I thought it was good.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of people predicting that Ash is going to die next week.
I think you keep him on to season 2. I think there is a clear, obvious character that should probably die next episode, but it sure isn't Ash Tyler.
Is it L'Rell?
No.
Who is it?
No, keep L'Rell, please. It's Philippa Georgiou.
Oh.
I bet they kick that into season 2. There's no way Michelle Yeoh survives season 2 of this show.
You're right. Like, I think she should die.
You run out of things to do with her eventually because she's that evil.
Well,
like, she beams on board and she sees Saru, and the first thing she does is like, me and Michael Burnham ate one of you just like 6 hours ago.
So that's my other thing with this episode, is that a lot of the discussion has been around the Ash Tyler stuff, where I am so much more fixated on the fact that they literally have the Emperor of the evil space Nazis on board, and they're like,
and to be fair, the show is very clear that Michael Burnham bringing her aboard is a bad idea, and Michael Burnham realizes that instantly and is just filled with regret, like, oh shit, I fucked this up.
Yeah, like, so... I don't know, like, I agree with you. I feel like the way characters talk to her is a bit stupid. Like, she should be locked up immediately. They should be suspicious of her. She has committed infinite war crimes.
So to me, that just goes to show people like Cornwall like might be willing to like do a war crime to end the war, but they don't actually understand what that entails because they're fucking Starfleet officers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just seems a little...
Like, the way they've been going on is, like, she went into an obvious trap to be like, oh, Klingons, we would like to negotiate peace.
She sure did. She did.
So when she's confronted with, like, a really evil person who will really do evil things, of course she blunders in, like, oh, you clearly have good intentions. We're going to treat you nice, and you'll come around to our way of thinking. Because that's what Starfleet's about, is convinced everyone will see the light and come around to your way of thinking.
I mean, yeah, so, like, that's a lot of what this episode deals with, in that she does that also. So, she not only does she do that to Georgiou, she then, like, immediately after the scene in which Starbase 1 is revealed as being destroyed, she has, like, she shuts down on the bridge, and Saru has to take over, as she's, like, in the captain's chair, just, like, completely vacant. And then she goes to L'Rell and is like, okay, there's got to be something. Do you not understand what this war is? How do we beat you? What do you want? What is this war? And then L'Rell's like, no, there isn't. Like, we will, either you win or we win. That's it. That's what this is. So there's like 2 scenes with her and Georgiou and her and L'Rell where she's like coming.
Well, no, it's not even, L'Rell doesn't even say that necessarily. It's not that like, you win or we win. It's like the Klingons, if they are unleashed without a focus, are just going to be a plague on the galaxy. Like, that's all they're going to do. They're just going to overrun everything. They're just the Krogans at this point, right? Mm-hmm. Because they have no sense of honor. Like, the idea of, like, united under a grand sense of honor doesn't exist when they're just trying to rack up kills as, like, pissing contests with each other. And her whole idea is like, you have to subjugate us or we will destroy the galaxy, basically.
Mm-hmm. I want them to,
because the implication to her, especially through the entire time, is that she doesn't actually have faith that Klingons as they exist now can accomplish anything.
No,
and them overrunning the galaxy basically just proves her right. Like, oh, they made a mess of it because their ambition has no focus. There is no uniting among the houses.
Yeah, like L'Rell is a really interesting character that I wish they did more with, because like she is ostensibly the last surviving Klingon who like believes in the ideals of like T'Kuvma that started this whole thing.
Yes.
And is like watching this conflict play out between the Federation, who she still hates and won't actually work with, and the Klingons, who have become something that she like doesn't recognize and is just kind of disgusted with, and so she just like backs away and lets them kill each other. Also, the thing she believes in is the Klingons from the other Star Treks that we know. Yes, that's true. Like the Klingons exist.
Yeah, like the thing that she's describing, that what she wants is just TNG onward Klingons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. And I wonder how this is going to wrap up, because like 1 week to like end this war seems like I expect more to be open than I thought it would be. I mean, the war has been given an out of if you wipe out all of the military on Kronos with your like big blustery attack, the Klingons will have to retreat to like rebuild their forces. And even if you didn't actually solve the war, they won't be attacking you. And by the time they want to come back out to do that, you will have a military again, and you can just deal with it. Like, it will basically force a ceasefire because they will turtle up. I guess I guess that does line up with what TOS Klingons are, like, because like, yeah, as a metaphor for Russia, which is what they usually used as in the like TOS era, right? Yeah. Like, I guess the war never ends; it just kind of stops. Yeah, eventually Klingons literally run out of resources, fall of the Iron Curtain, Praxis explodes, and they sue for peace because they have nothing left to fight with. Yeah, because in like the way the characters in Star Trek VI like behave doesn't indicate that the war ever stopped. Like, yeah, Kirk hates the Klingons. But he hates the Klingons because he runs across like one or two of them every once in a while, and they're real assholes to him. Mm-hmm. They killed his son, those bastards. They did kill his son. He killed a lot of them, to be fair. He did kill a lot of them. Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder where it's going to go. I think it's interesting. I don't know how much like space there is in this time period to like dive into some of the Klingon stuff, especially with the redesign and the refocus of them. But I like the L'Rell stuff. I think it's interesting, and I think I remain convinced L'Rell will be a character in season 2 as a going concern. That's my hope. That's my hope. Yeah. Like I expect. So my thing is that I expect at least someone to die next week, and Georgia is the obvious one. But I think Georgia is the only one that makes sense to me. Well, no, I think whether that. I mean, I guess there's Cornwall, but I mean like a main character that matters. Yeah, but whether that happens to Georgia or not, like I've seen people saying, "Oh, someone's clearly got to die in the big fight," and I'm like, Michael Burnham. Do they? No. Oh no, I'll be so mad. Well, yeah. And so, yeah, a lot of my concerns or like feelings with this plotline are just uncomfortable with the way that everything has kind of gone, because everyone's been way too nice to the evil emperor. But I guess that's just a very Starfleet thing to do. It's about to blow up immediately in their faces. Well, like, so, like, Cornwall's like, oh, we'll treat you humanely. We have some questions. And then she like basically like plays them by being like, yes, I will answer your questions. And then Sarah comes in like, oh, I know that you are secretly evil, and I'm going to talk to you about evil plans because maybe you can give me the information. I can handle it. I'm a Vulcan. Because he's a Vulcan and he's on his bullshit all the time. That's what Vulcans do. Sarek is so on his bullshit in this episode. It's incredible. But, like, Saru and Burnham, like, Burnham realizes, like, what she brought back is not Philippa Georgiou and never will be. Like, straight up. Like, immediately seeing how she treats Saru basically confirms that for her, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And thus, the two of them, by the end, when, like, Cornwall drags out Georgiou, be like, oh, we found her. She's been in a Klingon prison camp for a year, and now she's going to be captain again on this very secret super mission. They look at each other like, we need to stop her. Like, that's the goal. Like, they know that it's a mistake. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like, so, like, the whole tension of the episode is that she saved Georgiou because she couldn't be responsible for her dying again. Like, it would have been a casualty that didn't need to happen, so she would have it on her conscience, so she had to fix that. Yes. And now she has to live with the fact that, like, so she understands that she can't replace Giorgio. And so then what immediately happens is that she actually replaces Giorgio, which is the nightmare scenario.
Yes. And now she'll probably have to kill her again.
Oh, man. I hope so. That's what I hope happens because...
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll see how long the next episode is. There's so much stuff to do in 50 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. What if next episode's like double long or something?
That's I feel like they would advertise that. Like, that would just be 2 episodes.
Yeah, probably.
Like, they would be like the extra long finale.
It's really weird because the preview for next episode does not sell you a show that is ending with that episode.
Huh.
It evoked a lot of Broken Bow. I will tell you that.
I mean, Cornwall does go. Not since the crew of the NX-01, commanded by Captain Archer, have we gone to Kronos.
Yes. I think using we in that instance is maybe a little bit of a problem, considering that the NX-01 is not a Starfleet ship, but okay.
I can't remember if I think she said humans. I don't know if she said Starfleet. Yeah. I don't know what the... But, like, so the line is, like, not since the NX-01, so we need someone to guide you on this mission. And it was phrased in such a way that, like, there was about a half second of me expecting T'Pol to walk out. Like, there was... Because I didn't realize that was the end of the episode.
There will be no T'Pol.
I know there won't. But why would you have that fucking line there if you're not going to, like, give me, like, a moment of going, what? Oh, sorry. That was dumb of me.
You know... yeah.
Saru's the captain.
Saru is ostensibly the captain, though not anymore, I guess.
He's the captain. I don't know.
No, Philippa Georgiou's the captain.
No, he's the captain.
Until Philippa Georgiou is disposed or incarcerated, she is the captain.
They've traded one evil Mirror Universe captain for another.
Yes. But this time it was Cornwall's idea because she's so mad at Gabriel Lorca, playing her by being Mirror Universe. She vaporized his fucking fortune cookie. She was furious, and then immediately turned around and did his exact same idea. No one is more of a Starfleet admiral than fucking Cornwall.
Yeah, it's like, God, I can't believe him. I hate him so much. How could he betray us like this? Anyway, what would the Mirror Universe do? Shit.
And then Sarek makes a very poignant, maybe we will never see each other again, as if the show might have been canceled after one season. Who can say?
Who can say? I assume that I don't know. The Sarek stuff was cool.
Yes, Sarek is 100% the person who'd go to Philippa Georgiou and be like, I think we could use you.
Yeah, the idea that Sarek is like basically going up to like evil emperors and being like, these other people can't handle it, but I'm cool enough to handle this mission.
Yeah.
And then like 10 years later is having a pissing fight with his son about like, why did you join Starfleet, you idiots?
Vulcan paternalism knows no bounds, Jackson.
And then like 100 years later is being like, I have to make this negotiation work. It is to be my crowning achievement. Except that one time I stared down the Emperor of the Mirror Universe.
Also, the Mirror Universe has been classified. Only like 4 people know. So there's that too.
Yes, they go to a meeting room. First meeting room of Discovery, I think.
No, there's the one where Lorca's meeting with all the generals or admirals, like episode
that
5
does happen. But we were talking about it, and we thought it was hilarious that Lorca dies, and immediately they go to the mirror, the
meeting room. Yes,
because Lorca doesn't need a meeting room; he just has a standing desk.
Yeah, but now everyone's sitting around a table, and they're going to talk about their situation
and shoot some vaporize some fortune cookies.
Yes, and like use a weird holographic thing out of the Marvel movies.
They also hand wave away other Lorca, being like, "Oh, he clearly switched to the other universe. He's fucked. Goodbye."
Well, yeah, she's like, a Starfleet officer couldn't have survived in that universe for so long.
Yeah, like, oh, this happened. Like, he switched places how long ago? Well, he's dead.
Yes, about the same as, the other Discovery blew up immediately. Also, did you appreciate that literally the first thing they do when they get back into the proper universe is put the U back on the ship?
Yes, I did appreciate that. They made sure to put that shot in. I didn't even think they were going to give that shot a moment.
They did. They've just established that the Federation is mostly gone. They have no contact with anyone, but they make sure to put that U on the ship.
Man, Star Trek is back.
Yeah.
So I had some problems with this episode, and I'm like a bit uneasy about something. Like I think this season's a mess, basically, which is to be understood from how it came about and that it basically blew up.
I still think it's probably the strongest first season Star Trek's ever had.
Oh, for sure. Like, but it's such a different thing, and it's still a mess. Like we talked a little bit about
it's a
this
mess,
last week.
but also like the minute we come back to the Prime Universe, we now have a conflict about like day-to-day officers on the bridge worried that command doesn't understand what Starfleet's mission like thematically is anymore, and we're right back into fucking Star Trek. I am so excited.
That was the point I was getting to. That like I think it's a mess, but holy shit, being back in the Prime Universe is like relief. Like I can breathe again. For as many,
and now that they did their big flashy Mirror Universe movie, and now we never have to talk about the Mirror Universe again.
It's classified.
Yeah,
it's classified.
No one will ever know.
No, except I guess 4 people and a Klingon. L'Rell knows.
Yes, L'Rell knows, but who's she gonna tell?
They can never let L'Rell go. Never.
No, absolutely not.
Oh man. Okay. The L'Rell stuff has to stick around then, because like either she has to die for convenience, which is boring, or they have to just keep her forever to avoid anything leaking out.
Yep.
But I guess that's it for this week. It's going to be a big talk next time because it's going to be the finale. A lot of stuff has to wrap up.
Yep. Who knows?
Some people know. They're working on season 2.
Oh yeah, no, I know. We don't know.
We don't know. Episode is called "Will You Take My Hand?"
Yep. That's it. That's all I got. Sorry.
That's all you got? I mean, yeah, that's it for us. We're gonna...
Yeah. We'll be back next week with the last episode of this, and shortly thereafter, probably with the next book club about The Return by William Shatner and the Reeves Stevenses.
Yes, I'm gonna go start reading them after this, I think.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's not like any better about like Shatner being on his bullshit than Ashes of Eden, but it's actually just about better, cooler things. So the book is incredibly readable and endlessly entertaining.
Well, I just care more about the TNG cast.
Yeah.
Riker's gonna have to do some shit.
Yeah.
Right. That's us. We're talking about bullshit. We're gonna go. Enjoy your week. I'm gonna go get this episode up. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Goodbye. Goodbye.
See you out there.